Patreon exclusive. That's a beautiful mug you have in your hand.
It's nice, right?
That is nice. It kind of looks like tits from here.
Like tits?
Like low
Oh,
hanging
like
boobies.
boobies. You
Yeah.
look like boobies. Very pointy nipples.
Very pointy nipples. Anyway, guys, speaking of boobs, what a tragic day today has been.
Oh man.
We said goodbye to the one and only Dolly Parton. One of the best whites.
I want to point out that's one of the first things I was going to say. She made it on my all-time whites list. Some
Premium
3 years.
white.
Premium white, a premium white. She's a great lady.
All while Mitch McConnell allegedly lives and breathes.
Mitch McConnell's out there doing jumping jacks, from what I understand. That's a
He's doing
video I
totally
watched.
fine. He's fine.
Yeah, yeah.
Listen, what the fuck is number one is the thought that I had. And the thing is, like, everybody's like, oh well, she was 80. I don't care. There's a lot of 80-year-olds that are still alive. Okay. I'm not gonna name names, but I think
I
we all
was,
know one, at
yeah,
least,
we
that we're
we do know.
surprised is still alive.
Still
Again,
keeps
not
chugging
gonna name
along.
names.
Not gonna name names. May have attended a sporting event this past weekend. May have seen some cars go zoom zoom, and may have gotten a tense talking to with his wife. Did you see that?
Oh yeah. I know. She said, "Don't hold my hand." That's my impression. Anyway,
of,
it,
of Mitch McConnell's wife?
it- oh, I was
Yeah.
thinking about. I was.
I know.
I was
You're right.
actually. I know. Okay.
Anyways,
Anyway, Dolly Parton, we loved you. You were one of the premiums. Do you know that
yes.
Dolly Parton was so? You know how we talk about like there's no ethical billionaires.
Mm-hmm.
Dolly Parton could have been a billionaire by now based
Yeah.
on how much music she made and how much she was in the media and how actively she was involved in media for like so long and pop culture for so long. But you know what she chose to do instead? She started the Dolly Parton's Imagination Library. Are you familiar with that?
I'm not.
Since 1995, it's a program that anybody can sign up for, and it mails free age appropriate books to children from birth to age 5 every single month. So every single month millions of books are sent out to kids for free, and it was inspired by her dad who was illiterate. And so she said, I want to make sure that parents encourage their children to read and write, and they develop this like joy of reading together as a family. So from the time that you're born to 5 years old, she was sending, if you sign up for the program, free books to kids all over the country.
She
Incredible.
also she also so I don't remember exactly how, but she did help fund the COVID vaccine.
Dude, she donated $1 million to Vanderbilt University. And she is actually in the medical journal for the Moderna vaccine, for the mRNA vaccine. Dolly Parton is cited as one of the
Mhm.
people that contributed to this research. It's incredible.
She's a true lady.
A true
Also,
lady. Yeah.
no, go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
I once I heard a story about her where I don't know the name of the song, but she basically wrote a song and it was she wrote it after she confessed to her husband that she was not a virgin when she got married, right? And she got married
Mhm.
like in the 60s or something like that, right?
Mhm.
And that's just to say, obviously, there's this image of her as like this lady with the big breasts and like
Mhm.
this like that whatever. But like if you actually listen to her and if you listen like even when she was on like these talk shows and stuff like that, yes, there was like this glamour version of her. There's like this big. I use this term with a lot of affinity, which is like this like bimbo image, right?
Mhm.
That she was putting out there, but she was so fucking smart and
Mhm.
so funny and just like so genuine and like truly like when you say when we talk about premium whites or whatever, I think that's what we're looking for. We're not looking, we're-
If anybody's looking to apply, here's some of the
to be a premium white. Yeah,
prerequisites.
exactly.
Yeah, to be a premium white, be a good person. That's
Be a
number
good
one.
person. Yeah.
Like, for her to be such a bad bitch complimentary that Donald Trump's truth about her today or his truth social post was one of the most sane things he's ever said.
Oh, what did he say?
He was like, I'll find it. He was like, it was so tame that I said, did Natalie write this? You know who Natalie is, right?
Oh, I know who Natalie is.
Let me tell you. Let me put it up. Vamp, vamp, vamp. Okay, it is. Okay. Very sad to report that Dolly Parton, one of the greatest country singers and far beyond ever, has just passed away. This is a true loss for millions of people. There has never been anyone like her and never will. In her honor, I am lowering the American flag throughout the United States for a 1 week period beginning tonight at 6 p.m. Rest in peace, Dolly. The world loves you.
Oh, it's actually nice. It's weird. It's weird that Trump isn't celebrating the death of somebody on Truth Social. That's
Isn't
his
that?
usual go. Yeah.
You're like, oh my God, this is such a good person that he's actually not making it about himself. Like,
Yeah.
it's incredible. She was amazing. You know that in her county where she grew up, I think she grew up in what, Tennessee? See, where she grew up, in the county that she grew up in, she started something called the Buddy Program, where she was offering $500 to kids in middle school to make it through high school and graduate in high school. But the whole thing was that it wasn't just you had to encourage a friend of yours, the classmate, to also graduate. And at the end, if both of you graduated, you both got $500 each. And as a result, she lowered the dropout rate in her county from like 20 something percent to like 5%. It-
Amazing.
again, this is what we mean by we should be using the money for good, right? Like, we
Exactly.
can't have somebody like Sam Altman being like, you can use AI to make a podcast about you and your kids on your way to school. Did you see that?
I did see that.
He was like, so you can maybe like use AI to make a podcast episode about you and your family so you can listen to it on the way to school. And it could be about your family, your activities, what you have coming up for the day. And I was like, or you could just talk to your kids.
Talk to your human being child.
You could talk to your, these fucking tech guys, they're fucking weird. They're
weird.
weird.
They're
They're nerds.
Well, so that's it. It seems like so like simple and like reductive just to say that. Oh, they're just. But honestly, like when you listen to them, it is just 100% nerds who did not interact with other human beings growing up, and now they're like that now they're this is their revenge where they're just like, well, we don't need people. You don't need real people.
We don't need real people. Weird.
Anyways,
Anyway, rest in peace, Dolly. We love you. If I had an American flag out outside my yard, I would put it half mast. But the most I can do is um, wish you the best.
is
Those
it
pearly gates.
is it impolite? Oh, I'm not going to say what I'm going to say.
Okay, good, great. I'm so glad you censored yourself. It is impolite. Were you going to say that you were going to put your penis at half mast? Is that what you were going to say?
I would never use the word penis. I was just gonna say I'm gonna be at half mast.
I know you so well. It's disgusting.
By the way, the name of the song that I was thinking about, it's a song called "Just Because I'm a Woman," and it's about the double standard. She's like, "Just because I'm a woman, my mistakes are no worse than yours. Just because I'm a woman." Because her point was, her husband was upset that she had been with somebody else, and she's like, motherfucker, like nobody asked men if they've been with anybody else. Like, why is my virginity? And the song came out in 1968, which is insane. Like, it's amazing.
Amazing. Now, a man will take a good girl and he'll ruin her reputation, but when he wants to marry, well, that's a different situation. I know that's right, Dolly.
Snap, snap, snap.
Snaps. Oh, God. Rest in peace, Premium White. We'll miss you. And yeah, whenever anybody asks, like, what's up with the blonde bimbo thing? And she said, well, I'm not a bimbo and I'm not a blonde. So she said, I'm not an actual bimbo and I'm not actually blonde. And I loved her for that.
And also, Jolene is legitimately one of the greatest songs of all time.
I Will Always Love You is one
Have
of the
you heard
greatest
that
songs of all
version?
time.
It's so good. I went on a run. This is like 2017, 2018, when I was emotional because of the stuff that was happening in the family. I listened to her version of I Will Always Love You like 5 times a day, and I used to cry.
It's so good. And you know what's crazy? I was as you know, we were out this afternoon. We were getting new sneakers for the kids for the school year. And I was driving and I said, guys, I'm so sad. Dolly Parton died. And both of my kids were devastated. They're 9 and 12. And I was like, am I a good mom? Like, I can't believe they know who she is. Like, they were like, no way. And I said, yeah. And they said, how old was she? I said, 80. And they said, "What?" So they were upset. So I was just like, "Okay, well, at least my kids know who the more important people are in the world." You
Mhm.
know what I mean? Anyway, we've got lots to cover. One thing I wanted to talk about today that we have not yet discussed. It happened while I was on my little hiatus when I had, quote, taken to bed. And it was the trailer for this new movie with Olivia Colman and Alexander Skarsgård called Wicker. And I said, we need to talk about Wicker. And you said, I don't know what that is. And I said, great. And then last night I sent you the trailer for it. Did you watch the trailer?
I did, and I had a reaction. So you know when we talk about, hey, upcoming episodes, these are the things that we're going to talk about. That often happens where I don't know the thing that you're going to tell me about because we want to have we want to get my genuine reaction or whatever.
Yeah.
So I didn't look up anything that's happening with Wicker, and then you sent me the link for it, and I was like, oh, what is this? And I clicked on it as the trailer. I watched the trailer, and it's just like my experience of it, like because I never know what's going on, like what this news. And then I watched the trailer, and it's amazing. And I was like, "Oh, you're so excited about a movie about a lady making a dildo, just a sex toy."
He's a person, excuse me. The film, if you don't know, is a movie about it's a film about a local fisherwoman played by Olivia Colman who gets Peter Dinklage, a basket weaver, to make her a husband. And that
Mhm.
husband is played by Alexander Skarsgård, and he is a full head to toe man made of wicker. And the entire trailer is just her getting railed in the entire, and it is and the whole thing is like she did it and everybody's jealous of the magic that she's built.
Mhm.
And the funniest thing that come out of that is that immediately after that, every single Home Goods was putting out all of their wicker baskets right in the front of the store. We're like, Home Goods, please, please. So it's like we've gotten to the point as a society, women, we're so disgusted by men that we're like, I'd really be into a movie about a like a rattan chair turns into a person, and that's romance right there. Like that's what
Well, it's,
I either want to see gay romances or I want to see man as inanimate object
there
with
you go.
woman. Yeah.
I will say I watched the trailer. I really enjoyed it. I'm looking forward to watching that movie. Everybody in that movie, I really really enjoy. I really like Olivia Colman, Elizabeth Debicki also, who's
Mhm.
great.
Mhm.
And then Alexander Skarsgård. But I was thinking like because there's obviously so much sex in the movie, and that's
Mhm.
like a big part of the movie. Just and listen, I know I'm not I'm not covering areas that I know deeply about, but I just think like that Wicker seems
You're
like
worried you're worried about the
it's a
yeah,
tough
yeah. No,
texture,
no, no,
man.
I get it. I get it. You're worried about like what's it called? What is that thing when you get a little piece of wood in
Yeah,
your finger?
exactly.
What is
What is
that?
that called?
Our brains are not working. It is almost 9 p.m. on Tuesday. Um, you know,
Yeah,
you guys know what I'm talking about. What is that? What the fuck is
like a
that? A
splinter.
splinter. I also was worried about it, but it seems like the basket weaver knew what he was doing.
No, I think what you have to do is you have to put the essential oils on there, right? Like a baseball glove, you got to treat it. You got to make sure.
And if she's using protection, it should just be fine. If there's enough
I don't.
lubrication, I think it's okay.
I don't think they had Trojans at convenience stores in the 1800s.
Well, he's also ribbed for her pleasure. Anyway, listen, that movie looks hilarious. I'm so excited for it. It's exactly the kind of nonsense that I think Olivia Colman and Alexander Skarsgård also being in the movie is so funny. Like
Yeah,
I think that the cast is hilarious, like them, Peter Dinklage, Elizabeth Debicki. Like I just think that that's going to be a good old time. It's going to be so silly.
it seems like a fun time. It seems like when I watched that trailer, it reminded me of the Banshees of
Yeah.
Intrin.
Yeah, exactly. Listen, we have more important things to cover, which is, for example, the fact that we can't eat anything. We have not discussed the food recalls in this country, Rio.
Hmm.
It's not good. Now I will say, this week, the latest thing they came, we obviously know there's like a lot, right? There's a lot of stuff every week. It started with the lettuce. Okay, the lettuce is killing us. And then they said blueberries. I said, okay, fine, no blueberries. But then it extended as far into Visine. Visine, 40,000 bottles of Clear Eyes had been recalled for potential contamination due to that could cause that could be harmful to vision and lead to blindness. Here's a list of all the things that we can't eat, right? Lettuce, obviously, we got the cyclospora.
Mm-hmm.
Baby food had soft plastic. Eggs, salmonella. Blueberries, E. coli. Some sort of tomato bisque soup, listeria. Granola, jalapeno, salad dressing, dog food, salmonella. Recently, popsicles. Popsicles had glass in them.
How does that happen? How does a popsicle get glass in it? How does that happen?
Well, when you're not regulating the factories and you're firing a bunch of people and you're cutting, you're doing shortcuts to sell more shit, you're going to get glass in your fucking popsicles. Sourdough bread has metal shards. How do you get metal shards in sourdough bread? I
That's
would think
insane.
that it would be pretty easy to say, oh, yeah, we can't have metal in our sourdough starter,
Is
So
that from the cutting? You think? How does the metal shards again? How does the metal shards get in there?
I don't know, hard to say. But then recently we also had this thing which is horrible. Did you see about the horses? You saw them, like, they're going to kill a bunch of horses in America.
Oh,
And by
why?
the way, this is all a part of Project 2025. Apparently you're 2024, whatever it was. 5? Yeah, it was 5.
2025.
It was all part of it. There is like a whole thing about horses. They were going to kill off American horses. So then recently there's like a footage of a bunch of choppers riding around in Montana herding a bunch of horses, and they're going to kill the horses. And that same day, within that hour, I saw also news that Trump has a plan for the beef shortage. And I said, methinks the horse is beef.
Wait, why are they killing the horses? The horsies.
Hold on, I'm going to find out. Why
Horsies
are
dying.
they killing
I'm putting
the
this into my
horses?
AI. Horsies dying? Question mark.
No. Okay. Protected wild horses are ending up in the slaughter pipeline because an increase in government sales and weak oversight allow third-party traders to buy Mustangs cheaply and send them into slaughter. Okay, those are words I don't understand. Okay, apparently it's because too many animals, limited food and water for these animals, expensive to hold pens, I guess. And then apparently there is a bunch of horse trafficking and trading happening. So there's some black market business. And so they said the federal budget proposal seeks to remove longstanding rules that ban commercial slaughter of wild horses.
So they took off the regulations for the horsey
to
market.
to protect the horses.
No, but originally they took off the regulations to protect the horses, and now to make up for it, they're taking off the regulation about killing horses.
And then
I
they
feel like
said, but you're going to get beef. And I said,
Uh,
huh? I don't like
I feel
that at
like
all.
this is a dry run for what they're going to do with us. Is they're going to take off the protections for us, and then they're going to
Slaughter us.
snip, snap, snoop.
And that doesn't even sound that crazy. I'm like, yeah, that sounds
Yeah.
right. Yeah.
Mhm.
And we're like new kind of chicken. It's person. It's a good time to be a vegetarian, but not really, because the whole thing started with the lettuce, So, I mean, what are we
Yeah.
doing? I also think, again, it's a reminder that we all need to go back to shopping local. Grocery stores are apparently the bad place. We can't be eating all of the food at the grocery stores anymore. And apparently the Maha people are not that worried about it.
Really? I thought they'd be the first ones.
No, because the Maha people believed from the beginning that we should just be like drinking cow's milk out of the cow's teat. You know what
Straight.
I mean? Like straight up. Have you ever seen that?
There's people just drinking milk straight from the udder?
Udder?
No, I don't
It's
think so.
horrible. It's
Yeah, I'm
horrible.
sure it is.
It honestly makes me never even want to drink milk again.
Well, if you go down, so I've sometimes gone down like the PETA videos. The
Peter rabbit hole. Yeah.
PETA, not pedo. The
Hmm.
PETA videos. And yeah, you see like dairy farms are terrible. Egg farms are terrible. Like dairy farms, those cows don't like their entire life is just they just see like 3 feet. They get in
Yeah.
they get put into these cages and then they can't move around and then they just get milked. And then they die. It's sad. It's all very sad.
Did you watch the Sheep Detective movie, Raheel?
I did not.
You would fucking love that movie. First of all, it has Hugh Jackman in it.
Ooh.
But do you know what the premise is of it? First of all, if you
No.
saw the trailer, you'd be like, I'm not fucking watching this. But I know you. You would watch this and be like, this is the sweetest movie I've ever seen in my life. The story is about Hugh Jackman, who plays a shepherd, and he every night reads murder mysteries to his sheep and his flock. And then one day, the sheep wake up and he's been murdered. And so they solve his murder. And it is as silly as you think it's going to be. But at the end of it, you're like, I'm sobbing. This is amazing. Um, but yeah, it does make you question, obviously how food is processed in this country and all of that. And I think like the sad thing here, obviously, is like not everybody has access to the types of local farmers market to get
Exactly.
clean food, right? Like that's the problem is that a lot of people in this country are limited to only grocery stores. We have a lot of black and brown people live in essentially food deserts where you have a grocery store and only fast food. So that's sort of how the system is set up. And it's slowly killing us. And one day we will be the horse meat. Um, I also saw this morning some news about Trump, which I thought was kind of hilarious. And it was reported by NJ.com. So I'm going to read the headline. Alarm raised about new health concern for Trump, quote, a strong risk factor. And essentially, what happened is the alarm is being raised about a new health risk for President Donald J. Trump, the 23 pounds that Trump may have gained since his last White House campaign. So apparently, in August 2023, he said that he was 215 pounds. Okay. And recently, as of May, it's gone up to 240.
Ooh.
And so that would make him 1.6 pounds shy from being classified as obese.
Ooh.
And nothing is making him more mad than being potentially called obese. He's like, I don't care that you keep zooming in on my leper hands. I don't care that you guys keep saying that I wear diapers, but you better not call me fat.
It's why he's AI generating all those images of himself, right? Like if you've seen that, like he just takes like
They're
regular
so
pictures.
stupid. He's like
Yeah.
jacked.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, it could be because of his fondness for fast food, obviously. So
Mhm.
there's that. Anyway. Moving over to sports, Raheel. Let's talk about sports. Unless you
Sure.
have something else to add about Mr. President, your Lord and Savior, Donald J. Trump.
Do I have anything else to add?
Yeah.
It's a hell of a guy. I'm so glad he's around. No, there's really nothing else to add about him, right? I mean, it is like every day you wake up and there's something new and crazy and then you go, "What?
What's going on with Natalie Harp?
What do you know about Natalie Harp?"
Now, what I understand is that she is an aide of his, I think, right
Mm-hmm.
now.
Yes.
And what I've seen is that she is sprinting around town. She always looks like a Disney princess running to her man.
Yeah.
That's the energy that she's got. And then allegedly there's these letters that have been released that
Yeah.
are spooky, scary. And it's hard to know, right? Like, I want to believe that those are real. Those seem real to me. But the letters are not good. Like some of the language in the letters is like, hold on, I have one. It says, quote, "You are all that matters to me. I don't want to ever let you down. Thank you for being my guardian protector in this life."
Yes. So the background on her is I guess she was just like 10, 15 years ago when she
Mhm.
was apparently she was diagnosed with cancer. I
Okay.
believe that's the story, right? She was diagnosed with cancer, and according to her, uh, doctors had told her that she was going to die, that she had no chance to live. I think it was cancer or something else terminal.
Mhm.
And then Donald Trump got elected in like 2016. And then by 2017, she put out this video. This video just recently came out also, where she was crediting him for keeping her alive. Like it was the fact that Donald Trump came into office and that he doesn't follow like the traditional medical advice or whatever because he's a lunatic. And that is the
Mhm.
reason why she's alive. So she thinks that he is her personal savior. Like she actually believes that stuff. And then she has just been around. I don't know at what point she got added to his administration, but she was part of his like crew. I know as early as like 2023. So like those letters are from 2023 and they're like creepy because she's like,
Yeah.
I'm so sorry if I embarrassed you in front of, by walking along you at like the golf course and stuff like that. At some point, she said that she stayed in the men's locker room in Scotland just so that she could be around him. Like she slept there. She's like that crazy devoted to him. Um, sorry, go ahead.
By the way, she was homeschooled. So,
Yeah. And so her brother has also been in the news because her brother is like this um he's like this he's almost like I guess borderline Antifa, which I guess we're all Antifa, but he's like
mm,
very out there, very progressive. He basically wanders the land and he's very anti establishment. So he's been
mhm.
coming out and he's been talking about he's like, I'm so sad for my sister because it seems like a mental thing that's going on over there. So it's all just very, very troubling. It's not something that you like to see the president be so close to. But then again, this is Donald Trump that we're talking about. How much can you complain?
Yeah, it's spooky scary. She's only 35 years old and she has said something along the lines of even, "You have the absolute right to cuss me out if need be when I deserve it. Please no one knows or cares about me more."
Yeah.
Yikes.
Yikes!
This is bad. And then you look at somebody like that and you go, like, do I feel bad for this woman because she is at the end of the day a woman who is trapped? But is she trapped? She's making a choice. She's
She's not
35 years
trapped.
old. She's not
I mean,
trapped.
at
She's
that point,
fine.
you can't. I mean, obviously, it's because it's Donald Trump. We'd never use this term, but 35-year-old hanging around an 80-year-old with a lot of power, it could be classified as elder abuse by some people, right? Like
Yeah.
that's what they said about Bill Belichick and Jordan is
Mhm.
that hey, his family members were actually worried that there's elder abuse involved in that because he's like the 76-year-old guy and she's this 25-year-old girl or whatever, and she seems to be controlling his life. But I don't feel like that's the situation here. I feel
Mm-mm.
like it is more of just this is a young woman. And obviously, we're seeing it from the outside. Maybe Donald Trump did come and heal her cancer. Maybe that's the thing that happened. But
No.
she
I
seems
just
to
looked it up.
be.
He didn't.
He did not do it.
No, he
Okay.
didn't.
Well, I stand corrected. So I
Yeah.
don't know.
Yeah.
Whatever. Whatever. Who
Mhm.
cares?
Whatever, who cares? She said, okay, so she survived stage 2 bone cancer, later becoming a prominent aide for an executive assistant for Trump. Harp has stated that her health crisis began in 2015 after a nurse accidentally infused her with sterile water, leaving her severely ill and housebound. She was subsequently diagnosed with cancer. She tried to do some chemo, and then she didn't like the way that it was used. She didn't like the chemo. So then she ended up doing some alternative paths, and then she ended up doing immunotherapy, and that stabilized. And so she went on to talk about how the healthcare system is bad, and we need to, essentially like very Maha.
Mm-hmm.
And what's hilarious about that is like you still did go to an oncologist and you did do an FDA approved immunotherapy drug. So it's not like you were anti-science, lady. You were still saved by medical science. You were still saved by the research that happens by scientists for cancer treatment, right? Like, but anyway, she just became a beautiful blonde woman who talked about cancer, and then decided to say that it was Trump who helped her because he guided her out of her darkness, I guess. But it sounds like she was homeschooled, so that already kind of leads you down a path of things are going to get weird.
Yeah.
Are you ready to talk about sports now?
I'm always ready.
Oh God. Okay. Well, let's talk about Enes Kanter freedom.
Uh
Let's
huh.
let's talk about him. So I don't know if you guys are aware, but this weekend at the Liberty game, the New York Liberty game, there were a bunch of turfs outside protesting to save women's sports. They were protesting, and they were in support of Sophie Cunningham and Caitlin Clark, the only two women that they're concerned about in the WNBA. Who
Only
are
two
these other
women that
women?
played the WNBA, I
They're
believe.
the
I
only
think that's
ones,
how it
yeah.
works. Yeah.
They don't know about any other player. But Enes Kanter is a former basketball player.
Yes.
Who did he play for?
So when he first came into prominence, he played for the Thunder. Then he played for a bunch of teams. He played for the Knicks at one point. He played for the Celtics also. You want a quick background on Enes?
Yeah, tell me about Enes. He is Turkish.
He is Turkish. So Enes Kanter, I think he comes from a fairly well-off family. I think he joined the NBA somewhere either in 2012 or 2013. Like that's when we remember him from like the Oklahoma City teams. When he first came, I will say like within like the Muslim community, like Muslim basketball watchers or whatever, we were excited for him. Right? I remember the story in ESPN about like how he had turned the Oklahoma City Thunder onto Turkish food. So like
Mhm.
whenever they'd go to new cities or whatever, they'd go to Turkish places, and you go, "That's awesome, man!" Like you just
Yeah.
as a watch whatever. He did have like a political bend to his career at some point because he was very outspoken. He was very outspoken specifically about Turkish politics. So
Mhm.
he was a follower of this guy named Gulan or Gulatis or something like that.
Mhm.
This guy used to be he was like a progressive in Turkey, and he was friends with the Erdogan, who is now the president of Turkey. They
Mhm.
were both
Mhm.
friends, but then at some point they had a falling out, and then this guy, this Gulati guy,
Gulen
whatever,
Gulen is his name.
Gulen. Gulen.
Yeah.
He left Turkey and then he settled in Pennsylvania. So I remember Enes Kanter being really vocal about that part, and he came out against Erdogan. And at that point, I think Erdogan like
Is it
he lost his
Erdogan?
power.
I thought it was a Drogan.
Drogan, whatever. Where's Erdogan? Is that
I
the
don't
TV
know.
show?
That sounds like Akatar, which is a fantasy novel.
No, Erdogan. Anyways,
Ertugrul. You're thinking about Ertugrul, which is a
Ertugrul,
Turkish soap
which is a
opera.
Turkish. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Anyway, so
dumbasses over here at
he
Drogan.
yeah he came out against that guy, and then he got his passport revoked, and then he had a falling out with his family, blah 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 blah. So there was a lot. Enes Kanter was always this person that was always speaking his mind, quote unquote. He was always involved in politics, blah 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 blah. A few years ago, after he left the NBA, and he had a good career, I would say. I mean, he played professional basketball, right? But he had a pretty good career. He stopped being a professional basketball player. I don't know, I would say like 3 or 4 years ago, maybe 5 years ago. That's when I stopped remembering him.
Mhm.
But he was always kind of out there. And at that point, he very much became an internet person. So he became a MAGA person. He is
Yeah,
also very pro Israel,
which is very confusing.
which is strange for somebody of that background. He's been out there, and then recently he's gotten himself more and more involved in social policies in America because that's apparently what you do. You like to get in there and you like to talk your bullshit about things like Black Lives Matter and things like trans people in sports and all those things. So he came out, he said, I think this is probably last week where he said, "I'm declaring for the WNBA draft," right? And everybody that heard that was like, "Well, this is just an asshole just doing shit for publicity." And also, this is annoying. Like, this isn't like a smart thing, right? Like,
It's
I think
annoying. Yeah.
it's just annoying. It's like so it's him and this other guy named Royce White, who is also a basketball player, who is also now
Mhm.
running for he's running for the Senate in I think in Wisconsin or something like that. He was also again a MAGA guy. We're declaring for the WNBA draft. And it's like it's so transparent, like there isn't any subtlety behind it. They think that they're being smart and funny and blah blah blah. And it's like, no, this is smart and funny for people that think like Andrew Tate is smart and funny, right? Like it's the lowest of the low. Unfortunately, what I will say is the amount of people that take that initial story and like say, yeah, this is a good thing. Like this is we're all gonna have a laugh about this, and this is gonna be like a fun story. It would trouble you. Like the amount of people that say, "Oh, you know what? This is like a fun side story," and it's like, dude, like let's not waste our time on all this stuff. But that's basically what brought us into where we are today.
So he was also at the game
Hmm.
recently. He was at that game as well, where there were a bunch of protesters outside talking about protecting women's sports. And, the whole thing that we've always said about the MAGA movement and specifically the anti trans movement, right, is that the anti trans movement is pretends to be, especially as like a turf, right? JK Rowling and all these women that are like anti trans women, they think that they are somehow protecting themselves and protecting the sanctity of what it means to be a woman. But really all it does is it creates this belief that women are, one, inherently weak,
Hmm.
and two, require the protection of a man, right? And somebody like Enes Kanter making himself, centering himself, or this guy Royce White centering themselves in this discussion about the WNBA is so transparent. It's so obvious. It's like, okay, so you want to protect women by making yourself making this about you?
Yeah.
Like that's one part of it. But I saw this woman talk about how all of this is actually based in anti-discrimination laws. And I'm going to try to like quickly talk about it in a way that probably isn't as intelligent as that person. But essentially, what it is that all of this is based in anti-discrimination laws because Title IX rules require protection, right? So it's like it's protection of all people regardless of their gender or expression or whatever. When we start to dismantle laws for anti-discrimination laws, essentially what it does is it trickles up to things like, okay, now we can discriminate who we hire, and now we can discriminate who we allow in leadership, and now we can discriminate who we allow to vote, and
Hmm.
now we can, so it's basically reverting back to all this stuff. And I mean, even that whole conversation of women shouldn't be allowed to vote, it sounds absurd, but Pete Hegseth posts and shares pastors who talk about how women shouldn't be allowed to vote in America anymore, right? Like, so it's not that far fetched. Like, it's the pipeline from discriminating against trans women in sports under the guise of I'm protecting these women is actually like two steps away from actually removing the women's ability to do anything in this country, because
Hmm.
that's really what the issue is here, right?
Yeah.
Like, even recently they said that with the DEI being turned back, the people that are immediately affected by that are women. And they said that in the first half of this year, there's been a drop in labor in like, I don't know what the percentage was, but a significant drop in the labor force, and all of it, 100% of it is women. So this thing that we have of like, we need to protect women in sports and we need to create these safe environments. One, you're having men speak on your behalf, which is not helping. And
Hmm.
two, you have to understand that this is just a way for them to dismantle any protection that women have gained in the last 100 years in this country. Because
It's.
when black people fight for their rights,
Hmm.
we are all under that. We are all protected under it. Gay people are protected under it. Trans people are protected under it. Women are protected under it. Immigrants are protected under it. And essentially, all of this is just to dismantle the work that was done under the civil rights movement and I mean, not the suffragettes. The suffragettes didn't actually care about black people voting, but
some
under the civil
some
rights movement.
some troubling comments by the suffragettes during the 1920s. They also, but then you go, you know what? You know, this poor lady, all she had was a wicker dildo.
Yeah.
You know that one thing that I mean, when you were just talking, one thing that reminded me of was, remember, like right after Trump got inaugurated, there was that helicopter accident
Mhm.
in
Mhm.
DC. And what was the
Mhm.
first thing that fucking Pete had said? The Secretary of War, the guy in charge of the Pentagon, the one who is supposed to be protecting and speaking on behalf of soldiers. The first thing that they try to intimate was that it was the fault of a female pilot. It was just the fact that there was a female pilot. So, like, what they're very obviously trying to do is show that women are not capable
Yeah.
of doing stuff, right? And like the stuff with the pastors, and it's so wild, like how prevalent it is, and like how they're like presenting themselves now. Like I watched this clip of them on CNN talking about like, well, that, well, we shouldn't allow women to vote, we should allow households to vote, which basically just means that if you are not a married woman, that you don't get a vote, right? I mean, and even if you are a married woman, you don't get a vote because the man ultimately goes and he casts a vote.
Mhm. Mhm.
As they were talking, a lot of it made sense to me, but
Yeah.
I don't know.
And you
um,
said, "Let me get a wife."
let me get a wife just so I can vote on her behalf.
Yeah, but,
No,
but yeah, go ahead. Sorry, finish
no,
your thought.
and so the other thing is like, this all this horse shit about protecting women, right? Sophie Cunningham, there's this picture of her with Riley Gaines again, and I think we talked about this story a little bit
Mhm.
a little while ago because um, uh, Pablo Torre had a story on Riley Gaines. But the important thing to know about Riley Gaines is she's been out there, she's been talking all this shit for like 5-6 years about she's this big MAGA celebrity about protecting women, blah 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 blah. She in her autobiography, she says that her hero and the person that she feels closest to, the person that boosted her up, was her University of Kentucky swimming coach, right? He was like this great person. That motherfucker was accused and convicted of sexual assault of her teammates.
Yeah.
And she hasn't come out and said a goddamn thing about that, right? That is actual violence happening against women. And
Yeah.
so, like, it's and when you have conversations with like dudes about this, like it still like it's something that it connects with them, like that part of like protecting women. Oh, we don't want to have men in the whatever that thing is. Like it's so sad that people can't see the forest from the trees when it comes to that stuff, right? They're like, well, we don't want to have men in the locker rooms and stuff like that. And it's like, dude, like, do you think that's what's happening? Like, do you actually think that that's what's happening?
No, and also it's this idea that this whole unfair advantage, right? Like, oh, trans women who are not born assigned, female at birth or whatever, they're assigned male at birth, these trans women, they have an unfair advantage because biologically there is an unfair advantage. And the more and more I learn about even athletes within the WNBA and other sports in general talking about this type of stuff, right? Like this type of making sure that there is an inclusion factor for trans women and trans boys also. It's not just trans girls, it's trans boys also in sports. We The more and more I read about it, the more I learn that actually there isn't a huge biological advantage. There isn't a biological advantage. And the more and more we learn, there isn't an advantage. The reality is, Raheel, that you are a man. But if you were to go and post up with a bunch of WNBA players, they would
Yeah.
say, he's really bad at this. Like you're like, you and my husband and you guys had this group of middle-aged dads that play basketball once a week at the mosque basketball
Court.
court. And I'm pretty sure that if a single WNBA player was to come in there, they would wreck you, right? And it's so
No,
this
it's not just a single WNBA player. Like if a high school girls player
high school
came, dude, she would fucking destroy us. You have to watch it. Sometimes, like sometimes when we have a lot of people, somebody from the sidelines will make a video, and it is so sad because like
It's
when
so
you're playing the
embarrassing.
games, when you're playing the games, you feel like, oh man, like it's really intense or whatever, and you're running around at like full speed or whatever. And then you watch the video of yourself, you're like, oh my god, we're so terrible.
Yeah.
No, so yeah, like listen, is there a physical advantage of being like a 6'8" man? Like Enes Kanter is, I think, like 6'10", obviously, and he weighs like 350 pounds. Royce White guy is like, and it's like, what do you think? I feel like it's a fundamental misunderstanding of what sports is supposed to be, right? Like like all this shit is just made up, right? Like
Yeah.
basketball is it's just made up
It's
rules,
made
right?
up. Yeah.
Some dude just made it up like 150 years ago. Like that's all it is, right?
Yeah.
And so like it's not like you have you, and this also happens when people are like, well, who's the greatest athlete of all time? And then there's always this comment anytime anybody says like Serena Williams, people are like, well, she wouldn't last on the men's tour. It's like that's not the point of sports. Like all this shit is made up. We are talking just within that little, within that arena. And so like take it easy, man. Just if somebody just wants to play, all they're trying to do is just play. They're not trying to come in and dominate. They're trying to find a place. Trust me when I say like playing basketball for a trans person or playing a sport for a trans person isn't the biggest thing in their life. Like they have so many other things that they have to consider just in terms of how they have to survive in this world. Like it's not an easy journey.
Yeah.
Sports is usually like the one escape that people have, right? They do it because it's fun. It gives them joy of life. Like why would you fucking take that away from people? That's
Yeah.
insane.
Yeah. Yeah, it is excluding women, trans women or trans boys, trans men from sports essentially takes away a piece of belonging for human beings. And why would you ever do that? What is the point? Why would you do that? And this idea again that there is some sort of an unfair advantage. Yeah, okay, Enes Kanter is a grown man and he's going in here, but he also hasn't played basketball in a while. Okay. So I really actually want to see how he does playing against a bunch of active athletes that are half his fucking age. Okay. He's probably not that good anymore. Also, he's a loser because he added freedom to his last name when he
Yeah.
turned to an American citizen. Get out of here. I just think like this whole thing, right? Of like, we as people need to be really careful about, and maybe like, somebody would hear this and go, oh, you're such a snowflake, and maybe if I told you this 5 years ago you'd be like, come on, don't be ridiculous. But as you know, I am and I told you so ass bitch. I
Mhm.
do think that we as people need to be really really careful about how we talk about the differences between human beings when it talks about inclusion, right? Because essentially we need to be very careful that we're not going down some sort of a dog whistle that essentially makes it easier for people who hate us to continue to discriminate against us. That's really what it is. So we need to be really mindful of stuff like that. I also just think that everybody needs to cool it. Be cool, man. Don't be all
Just be cool.
uncool.
Just, don't be all uncool. I will say, listen, I hate to be this person, but I have. I mean, as a sports fan, I have to correct you. Ennis Cantor would, because of the physical advantage, he would do well against the women.
I
But
mean, I
that's
don't
not
know.
the
I'd
point.
like, but that's not the point.
That's
Also,
not the
nobody
point.
is asking for him to
I
play.
know.
Like that's the whole. This is so
I
stupid. It's so annoying. It's
I
so
agree. No,
annoying.
I think the point is that like and I don't think she's ever gonna fuck. And because I really truly feel like she put that statement out there, like she said it so that she could become a part of the story, right? Somebody like Sophie Cunningham, right? She said it so that it becomes a story, right? But what these people should fucking understand is, again, like the percentage of people that we're talking about in terms of being able to, or that are playing a sport even at a college level, it is so minuscule, right? What you have to understand is that anytime somebody is trying to force you into that conversation, anytime somebody's trying to force, and somebody like Enes Kanter is trying to force this conversation, the only people it hurts is like kids that are trying to
Yeah.
figure their way into in this world. And it's really really hard. Like when you look at like the suicide rates for trans kids, it's like, how do you see all this stuff and not understand what this is all about? And I want to point out, like, because this is another thing that gets lost in the shuffle when you're, because we're dealing with, like, we're talking about some terrible people. Like Enes Kanter is a piece of shit, Royce White is a piece of shit, Sophie Cunningham, her words and her actions are those of a piece of shit. Even though she's trying to like clarify whatever she
She's
said
not
or
very
whatever,
good
right?
at it. Yeah.
She's not very good at it because I think she still very much wants to be. She really wants to be Maga Barbie. Like she enjoys her place in that. But like there are amazing WNBA people. There's amazing WNBA coaches. Even Sophie Cunningham's own coach, right? This lady named Stephanie White. She came out after that
Yeah.
incident with Dejanay Carrington, and she was like, "That's not what Dejanay was trying to do." She also came out and she said, like, she tried to clarify those comments. I think she tried to be as inclusive as possible. The Minnesota Lynx coach is the most badass woman I've like. Her name is Cheryl Reeve. She's
Yeah.
incredible, right? Right after that Sophie Cunningham thing happened, she wore a T-shirt and she said trans
Uh-huh.
kids belong, right? So there are incredible people on the other side that are doing the work.
Yeah. Also, Minnesota, every week I find out every day that really Minnesota is that bitch of a state, because you know
Yep.
that in Minnesota, high school sports in Minnesota for the last 10 years, they have a law within the state where high school sports, you can play sports under whatever gender expression you want. And it has pretty much existed unquestioned, like nobody's has any problems with it for the last 10 years. It's been like maybe 10 or 12 years since they started doing this. And it was fine. And it's only until we have these anti-trans people that suddenly want to like make an example out of Minnesota, right? Or like these MAGA people really want to come after Minnesota, because I think Minnesota is, they don't have the coastal elite bullshit to fight there, right? They don't
Mhm.
have the coastal elite bullshit. They don't have the, well, now they talk about the Somali and Haitian people being in Minnesota, but for a long time it
Mhm.
was like Minnesota's like middle America white, right? It's
Yeah.
America. So I think the fact that they're doing all these very progressive things really fucks with their brain, because they're like, well, you're not even a coastal elite. You're not even, one of those. And I
Well,
think
why
that
aren't
that
you
really,
hateful like I am?
why aren't you hateful like I am? Yeah. And I think like that's the thing. It goes like they do a lot of really cool stuff and they've been doing, and it's not been an issue. And I think everybody just needs to cool it. Let kids play sports, man. Listen, me, you couldn't pay me to play sports.
No.
But if
Well,
somebody really, really wants to do it, just fucking let them.
um, two things on Minnesota. Did you see that your guy? I know you're a big fan. I know you follow him on X at least. Jake Lang. Is that?
Oh,
Did you see
yeah.
he got his ass kicked by Spider Man, which was
By
amazing.
Spider-Man. Minnesota's amazing.
Minnesota,
Jake Lang was trying to fight, like set a Quran on fire, and a man dressed as Spider-Man jumped and kicked his ass.
it was amazing.
Jake Lang
Um,
also got like lifted by another man, lifted out of like in like their arms, like in his godi, like
yeah.
lifted and taken out of like a church or something. And as he was being lifted out, his little legs were kicking in the air. He was like, "Hey, let me down."
One other thing about Minnesota is, and this is the unfortunate thing, right? Like, and that clip that you shared with me also, which is just the two sides, which is the
Mhm.
side protesting for Sophie Cunningham and the side protesting against her or whatever. Um, and you just kind of see like ball knowledge, as they say,
Mhm.
and that's in terms of like the people that are actual fucking WNBA fans versus
Yeah.
just these assholes that come in anytime they have like something to get riled up about, right? The sad thing is what gets lost is like we don't talk about people like Olivia Miles. Olivia Miles is this rookie that plays on the Minnesota Lynx. In terms of like how exciting a basketball player is, right? Like I think when I talk about Caitlin Clark and I say I love watching her play, Olivia Miles is incredible to watch. She
Guess
and
where?
I
She's from
know
Summit, New
Summit, New Jersey. Yeah,
Jersey.
she's from Summit, New Jersey. She's a rookie. The Lynx have the best record in the WNBA. Their star player Nafisa Collier got injured last year. We talked about Nafisa last year.
Mhm.
She
Mhm.
got injured and now she's back and they're probably the best team in the WNBA. And it's like there are enough amazing players for you to actually talk about. There's enough amazing storylines for you to talk about. There's like watching Olivia Miles highlight package and be like, this shit, like I want to watch this. That's how this stuff should be working, right? Every time you hear about the WNBA, it's because of these assholes make it like, a thing. Like, and that's the disappointing part. I don't think the WNBA like leadership does a good job of promoting the right players or promoting the right storylines also. But like if you want to watch exciting players play really, really well, you can do that also. So
Yeah, I think unfortunately, sports recently has gotten into the same issue that a lot of other types of like media reporting has, which is
Hmm.
that we're no longer talking about the merits and the actual athletes. We're now talking about these like personalities. And somebody who's really been on the forefront of pissing us all off is Stephen A. Smith. Now, I was a big Stephen A. Smith fan 10 years ago, right? He used
Hmm.
to get on that television show with that guy, Chuck
First,
Bayless.
Skip Bayless.
Skip Bayless,
Yeah.
Chuck, whatever. Skip
First take.
Bayless, first take, and then he would just yell at Skip. And I was like,
Hmm.
"Oh, okay, I love that. I love a
Hmm.
person yelling at a white man. That's one of my favorite things in the world." And then recently, Stephen A. Smith has really taken a turn that makes you go, "Is everything okay?" And you know what I learned, Raheel? I learned that even 10 years ago, black women were like, Stephen A. Smith is not our friend.
Hmm.
We do not, nobody should be listening to him. He just is yelling, guys. He's not making a point. And we were like, no, but sometimes da, 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 da. Well, recently Stephen A. Smith was given by the National Association of Black Journalists. They give him the, which is hilarious. I need to start doing this. It's the 2026 Thumbs Down Award.
Yeah.
I need to start giving people that on a weekly basis.
Yeah.
Um, And they accused him of having a recurring pattern of disparaging black women in
Hmm.
politics and media and sports. And he got really mad. He was like, how dare you? How dare you? I have a black wife and I
No, he
have
doesn't have a wife.
nieces.
He's a black lady. It's
He's a
different from
black
a wife.
he has nieces and a
Yes.
sister and a
Yes.
mother.
Uh-huh.
Okay, so how dare you? And he works with up to 5 black women sometimes. And he was really, really mad. He was really, really pissed. By the way, also he's a potentially, you mentioned this a while ago, a potential presidential contender.
That's right. He's his name's been floated for like the last 2 years now. I've been hearing it. It's crazy.
Flirting with a presidential run. Okay, great. Um anyway, he said, "Oh my god, I found the he had said, "Life is great, especially at ESPN Disney. Hate the thought of being a politician, but sick of this mess. So officially leaving all doors open. I'd like you to close that door. Thank you."
Let me close that door
Anyway,
for you.
yeah. So, people have been saying like and what I loved about the NABJ is that they were like, we don't care that he's complaining. We're doubling down on it. He
Yeah.
has spoken poorly about Michelle Obama. He's spoken poorly about the Williams sister. He's spoken poorly about like Joy Ann Reid. Like he has spoken poorly about some people. Even Jamel Hill was like, he's a friend of mine, and I get that he like criticizes black women. And there's not an issue about criticizing black women, but his tone specifically when he talks about black women is fucked. And I was like,
Hmm.
yeah, listen to black women. And then you know what Stephen A did when he was really mad about it?
Yeah.
He went to Chris Cuomo to complain.
He's
He went
also
to Fox News to complain.
he's a
And so it's
regular on
like,
Sean Hannity.
yeah, he went to Hannity. He said, Hannity, they're bullying me.
You want to hear something wild?
Yeah.
I don't know the exact context of the clip or whatever, or of the statement or whatever. But while he was on Hannity, Hannity also had a problem with the fact that there's a National Association of Black Journalists. So he was like, what about the fact like that association is not inclusive, right? What if we wanted to have a WABJ, right? And then you go, wait, what did you think the N stood for?
No! No!
Ah. Ah.
Oh my god.
Ay, ay, ay.
Ay, ay,
So,
ay, ay.
so the thing with Stephen A. Smith, just so you know, is he's very big. Like he's probably the biggest personality in sports, and I think this is like the bigger conversation that I'd want to have with you at some point about what's been happening in sports. Is so the ESPN model, right? At this point, is just about big personalities. So their two biggest stars are Stephen A. Smith and Pat McAfee. I think we've touched
Mhm.
on Pat McAfee before, but now
Mhm.
Pat McAfee has gone 100%. He's pretty much just 100% MAGA at this point. He was at
Mhm.
the games with Donald Trump and he's like sitting next to him. But both of these guys, they have like these, I don't want to say dog whistles, but they're pretty like, oh, you know what? We have to look at both sides. All we care
Mhm.
about is sports. But really, it's like, you know what? We're okay with racists. Like, that's what
Yeah.
they're saying, right? I think that's what Stephen A. Smith's thing is like, I want to have as big a tent as possible. But you're also just like, dude, like, given your position in the world, you are one of those people that can tell people to fuck off and like
Yeah.
do the right thing, right? And so sports media is in this weird place now where so there's like ESPN, which has completely become a parody of itself, is now like on ESPN they have like wrestling highlights. Like they have wrestling on Sports Center and they show it and you're just like, this is all scripted, right? Like this isn't the sports stuff that I was, but it's all just about as big as possible. Everything has to be a big event. Everything is a fucking college football like weekend. Everything is just so there's that part of sports is getting bigger and it's making more and more money every single day. And it's turning off traditional sports fans. So as a traditional sports fan, when you see the WWE on ESPN, you get like depressed. It's like this isn't the shit
Yeah.
that I grew up with, right? But there is also a lot of great sports coverage, actual great sports media coverage that is happening online. And so
Yeah.
if you are a sports fan, like seek out things like Pablo Torre and The Athletic and like these
Mina
little niche
Kimes.
Mina Kimes, like Mina Kimes, even though she is on ESPN, right? She like
She's the
follow her.
best.
She's amazing, right? And so there are really great talented people. It's just a murky soup right now.
Mhm.
And I just hope it gets better.
You know what I realized? We got a lot of murky soup.
Oh,
Everywhere you look, the soup is a little murky.
yeah.
Everywhere you look, you go, is that going to make me sick? And I think it is. Everywhere
Speaking
you look, the soup could have horse in it.
speaking of murky soup, did you see what happened to the owner of the San Francisco 49ers?
No, we're almost at football season. What happened?
Oh yeah. Jed York, billionaire, son of some York, owner of the
Peppermint
49ers.
patty?
Peppermint Patty. York Patty. No, I believe his mom's brother was the first was Eddie DeBarlo. I believe that's how it went. And then his mom married somebody. And now he's basically the owner of the 49ers. And he got the ownership because Eddie DeBarlo was going to jail for
Oh,
some fraud. So then they had to move the ownership out of it.
of
Anyways,
course.
it's disgusting.
Sure, sure, sure. Sure, sure.
He was in Cleveland. He got arrested on Sunday night at a trailer park seeking
Oh.
seeking a connection, a prostitution connection. He had met somebody online, or he didn't meet somebody. He went to an ad online, and he was in the trailer park with $160 because he made a deal with somebody for $140 to meet them for sex. Now, listen, you and we believe sex work is work.
That's
I,
right.
I will 100% back that up. It is just confounding to me that this billionaire went to, of all places, a trailer park. And I think the thing that upsets me the most is like, sure, you made a deal with somebody for $140, right? But
Sure.
you're a fucking billionaire. Like, show up with $500 at least. Like, he came
A
with a
$20 tip.
$20 tip. That's insane.
That is insane. Wow.
Yeah. So
Things are
that's what
murky.
things are murky.
Things are murky, I guess. We can't do anything about it.
I can't wait
Um
to contribute to his defense fund by supporting the 49ers this year.
yeah.
All that money's
Yeah.
going
Are
directly to
you
him.
so excited for the NFL season?
I listen. We don't have time to do like a
No,
full
we don't.
preview. All I'll
Mm-mm.
say is, remember Brandon Ayuk, who was my son?
Yeah.
Well, Brandon Ayuk has lost his mind. Like he's been off his rocker for a while. Like he's been, yeah. It's actually kind of sad because it feels like he's having a manic episode. Like I don't think he's ever gonna play in the NFL anymore ever again. Yeah,
No.
he's been whatever. But I have a new son. His name is
Oh,
Dejan Stribling. He was drafted in the third round. Everyone thought that it was a reach for the 49ers because he's older. He's looked excellent in camp. So that's all I just want to say. Dejan Stribling. Very
okay, what
excited
a
about
name.
him.
Dejan Ryan Demetrios Stribling. Good
Yeah.
for you. Okay,
Strib.
well, that's exciting. Strib.
We're going to the strip club.
Okay.
Me and Jed York.
Jed York isn't going to the strip club. He's going to the trailer park. He wants a toothless blowjob. Okay, that's what he's looking for.
Oh, we know he has 820s on him.
Yeah. He's like, this is how much I can afford. When you said that he went online, what's funny is like, remember when you used to go on a website and it used to be like hot new singles, local hot new singles? It's like he was probably clicking on that.
Yeah.
You
It's
know,
crazy. It's crazy.
it is crazy. Anyway, I have some other stuff. I actually want to do something and it's going to have to wait till next week because that I feel like is officially going to be our start of the NFL season is starting next weekend, I believe, because the first game is September the 9th.
Mm-hmm.
And so I want to talk a little bit about the NFL. I want to talk about some other stuff. But also I did notice that I had to make you a separate profile because I did notice that somebody was watching Ultimate Girl Trip. And I said, I'm pretty sure I watched episode 1 already. And it was like 70% done. So I know that you have been watching it. So I would like to discuss episode 1 to 3 with you this week if you get the moment to catch up.
Can we do it on the way? Because here's the thing: I have a job, and I have.
Okay, I do too, and I've got kids. Okay.
I'll try to watch. I just have to watch Lanterns, episode 2.
Well, we're not covering Lanterns for the podcast, Raheel. Don't you want to talk about Portia's wagon?
Oh, I want to talk about Portia's wagon.
I want to hear your thoughts about Portia's wagon. I want to hear your thoughts about how funny Giselle is. I want to hear your thoughts about how insufferable Vicky is. I want to hear your thoughts about how cool Luann is, and how
I'm excited.
Teresa's also there. Bless her.
She was the one that I was least excited to see, honestly, because like even Vicky Gunvalson with her hangdog face, like whenever I see. Is that inappropriate?
It's fine. She's a bad person.
I saw her and they had like a clip of her from like the first season or whatever, and it put a little pep in my step. Like I was excited because I was like, oh, I do remember her. But like, whenever I see Teresa, I just get depressed, man. I'm just not happy.
But by the end of watching Teresa, you go, she's a sweet person. She's been through a lot. She's been through a lot. She's just a dumbass who's been through a lot. Okay, there's nothing you could do about it. I am excited for you to meet Lisa Barlow, who is
that's a Mormon lady, right?
She's Mormon. She was raised Jewish and then she was converted to Mormonism. She's married to a Mormon man. And she one time texted our friend Tom Hamlet, fuck off, because he pointed out the fact that she has not just once but multiple times donated to Ted Cruz.
I'll say this, man. If I got a text message from that lady, Lisa, is her name? Lisa Barlow.
Yeah.
Lisa Barlow that said fuck off, I would have to break my my half mast for Dolly Parton. Because we would be full mast at that point.